Hey everyone, welcome to Coming Down. My name is Nathan. I am here with Matthew.
Hey everybody.
Hey man, how's it been going?
Man, not bad.
Yeah?
You know, like, things are going.
Yeah, dude, I feel the same way. And yeah, we don't have like a ton to catch up on because now we're doing this shit weekly again, which I'm still going to just kind of keep reminding ourselves of it. But
Right. Like, I feel like I forgot to mention this last time, but like, time's blurry. So like, I did get my booster shot.
Dude, right on. Hell yeah. I should be eligible. Yeah, I should be eligible soon. Real soon. Yeah. So yeah, I'll get that old triple dose up.
You know, like, I think this Friday I will technically be invincible to everything. So
yeah, and with the flu shot, I mean, what could possibly harm you
exactly.
at this point?
I mean, I can just start licking doorknobs again. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, I mean, short of a subpoena from the government for your I don't know where you were in January, but
fair.
We won't talk about that. No, so we teased last week that we were gonna like talk about all these like job anti-work stories, and then we ended up only doing my half of it. So
yep.
So we'll just jump right back into your half of it because like we went long in the tooth as we do, and felt like we would just save it for a second part. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll keep the sand-based humor to a minimum this week. Yeah, I don't really have any riffraff to talk about. I think we should just jump right into it.
And, you know, apologies to anyone who thought that we were, like, going to go on at length about anti-work and, like,
you know. And we can do that a little bit. So, as the continuing anti-work thing grows, which is awesome, you know, it's this huge, for those who don't know, it's this huge subreddit just called Antiwork, and it's really like this. It's not about people who don't want to work, because that's not the thing. Like, people want jobs, they want to contribute to their community and to their society and stuff. It's really just about this bullshit late stage capitalist society that we live in, where
this fake ass fucking minimum wage work ethic bullshit,
where like now there's no single city in America where you can work minimum wage full time and afford a 2-bedroom apartment.
No fucking way.
Like, it's just absolute bullshit.
You can't even do it with 3 jobs in most cities.
Right. And so, you know, this minimum wage idea is just oppressive and insulting to everyone, and people are finally kind of getting that and realizing they can take the power back.
Absolutely. And, you know, most of what this movement is about is people recognizing that their labor is valuable, and it's more valuable than what they're being paid. And so, you know, if they're in an abusive work situation, there's absolutely no reason for them to stay there when the market is what it is right now.
Yep. Absolutely. And to just talk about it a little bit more, there is a huge push on the anti-work subreddit right now to just laser focus and target McDonald's. That's the move right now that everyone's working on, which is basically don't buy from them and don't work from them. And if you do go and buy from them, if you go on the anti-work subreddit, I'll put the link to the main post, but basically it outlines the demands that they want from McDonald's, which is $25 hour minimum, just pay across the board with healthcare and benefits. And if they can't meet that, then people should not work for them and should not buy from them.
Fucking A.
Full stop until that changes. And the idea is that if we just laser focus on one company to start, then the dominoes start to fall, right?
That's hot.
If this one company suddenly has to start bowing to the demands of the workforce, or else they just don't get to operate, then other companies have to follow suit, right?
Right.
And then once if they do this, which I don't know, dubious if this will work out, but if they do this, the idea is that then people leave the other companies to go work for McDonald's. Because
go ahead.
Well, yeah, just because now if you can make $25 an hour working for McDonald's, then it's not a fucking shit job anymore. Now you're actually like doing all right, and you can fucking pay your living, you can pay your way through life.
Absolutely.
And then everyone else,
other shitty industries, you know,
right? And everyone else has to follow that suit. So
well, and not only that, but like if McDonald's does successfully do that, then that shows that there's a workable business model for other companies to follow.
Yep.
And like you said, the dominoes will start to fall.
Exactly. So, and this is something that has queued up in the very last week since we even recorded last week. This is kind of the big focus on the Antiwork subreddit right now, and a bunch of people are really pushing for this. And one thing you can do is if you do go to McDonald's, you can scroll a fucking a link to these posts on your dollar bills, or just hand them a piece of paper with these links and just say, hey, like, check this out. This is this movement that's happening right now.
Nice.
And encouraging people to just go find another job, because I'll tell you what, like, go anywhere else. Go work for Carl's Jr., go work for Taco Bell, go do anything else except...
Everyone's hiring.
Yeah, and let's just target McDonald's right now. And there's really good reason for that, and I won't get into it too much because, like, that'd just be a whole... TED Talk that I'm not trying to do.
Exactly. We're not trying to... we're not really equipped to fucking deliver that much political commentary, But.
Yeah, that too as well. So... What we are here to do, though.
Well, and I would also just mention that, like, there is a general strike being planned for Black Friday, and, like, that's cool as fuck, too.
That is super cool. And general strike for Black Friday, and some people are talking about doing a 10-day general strike.
Hell yes.
Starting on Black Friday, which I don't see any reason I can't participate in that. And so I'll be here not fucking spending money.
Yeah, exactly.
For a good week and a half.
I mean, I try not to spend money on Black Friday anyway, but, like...
Yeah, totally.
I'm down to, like, extend that,
If you absolutely had to, like, they do a record store day, which, it's like... You can go and support your local record stores, or, go shop local if you really want to, like, do something for Black Friday and feel like you're missing out on a deal or something, but, like...
But, I mean, also maybe, like... spend a little more money at your local store and go there when it's not Black Friday and show them that you're willing to support them even when shit isn't on sale,
100%. Yeah, and that is the even better move. Absolutely. And just don't go anywhere on Black Friday. Don't make it hard for the motherfuckers working these days.
Exactly.
Like, holy shit, dude. One of these days I'll tell my working at Best Buy Black Friday story, and it was criminal the way they treated us. Like,
I believe it.
It was fucking insane, dude. But I'm not here to get into another one of my stories. we are here. What we do here, for the uninitiated.
For those who don't know.
For those who don't know, what we do here is not try and, like, espouse political and social ideas to try and... alienate people or make people feel one way or another. What we try and do is get people to laugh about our history and just, like, stories. We're just here for stories, and so if you're there for the other thing, there's probably a ton of podcasts out there for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're I'm sure, especially right now.
But what I want to hear is your story about taking advantage of a company who treated you like shit, because if you go on the Antiwork subreddit, all you see is posts of people getting shit on by their boss, treated like garbage. Half the time it's fucking illegal shit. Like, bosses and companies are just stealing fucking wages and hours from people. Like, it's insane what's going on out there. So I want to know how you got back, how you struck back.
Well, and absolutely, and we should probably do the housekeeping before we launch right into it.
Totally. And so we'll take this moment to just say, like, hey, if you like us at all, or if you like what we're doing, hit us up on Twitter at comingdownpod, or comingdownpod.com is our website. And then our effort to get away from working, we do a Patreon. So, and really, it's not an effort to get away from working.
No,
it's an effort to just pay for our hosting.
Exactly.
But we do have a bunch of merch. We have shirts and stickers and coasters and buttons and stuff. So if you go on that Patreon, you can do just $1 a month or any amount you want. And if you do that, we'll send you some amount of goodies. You can see all the different tiers on there. And we really, really appreciate everyone who's been on there, everyone who's still on there. And if you do hop on there, fucking, we'd love you for it.
Absolutely.
So it helps us, mitigate that whole thing of working for our crummy wages and trying to, like, just do this thing that we like to do.
Exactly. And thank you so much to everyone who already has given to us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's so nice. It's so nice of all of you. So That's the housekeeping stuff. Hit us up.
Heyo.
Love to hear from you.
All right, so we've already mentioned all of the skullduggery at Pizza Pipeline. The ways to get back at the man that we had there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Whether it was trading liquor for pizza or fucking glass or whatever.
Or just intentionally fucking up a pizza because you get to like just take it home.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, food. Whew, yeah, like we
that was always a funny one. Someone would pull up the ticket and I'd be like, oh, they wanted a pepperoni, not a green pepper feta olive fucking like spinach really nice pizza. I don't know how I got that wrong. Yeah, I don't know how I got that wrong. I guess someone's gonna have to just take that home at the end of the night.
and we've also mentioned all of the movie theater scams that we had, whether it was like splitting tickets or
double tearing tickets,
refilling bevs or what have you. And I mean, like, Jesus, we also like tripled or quadrupled or even octupled the amount of like seasoning that we put on the popcorn to guarantee that we would get those refills.
You just salt them out so they have to come back.
We made some red popcorn sometimes.
Yes,
it was intense. But people loved it.
Yeah, they did. They're gonna need like 9 sodas to get through that.
Well, and you put enough motor oil on that fucking salt, and it's delicious.
Oh man, is it ever?
So yeah, I mean, like this is certainly not the most lucrative of the ways that I got back at my employer, but like this was also, apart from the fucking petitions job, which was just bizarro fucking wacky world, this was the weirdest job I've ever had.
Oh, yeah?
So to set the stage for you, I moved from Eugene to Portland because I recognized that like I was basically going to fucking drive myself into an early grave through alcoholism and like fucking late night vampiric fucking behavior patterns, like just you cannot.
It's weird that Portland was like, that place will be better for me.
Yeah. No, you see, the thing is like Portland is not much different from Eugene, but there's just a bit more space here, And we called Eugene the Velvet Rut because you just kind of fell into like whatever pattern you had, and it was just comfortable, and so you didn't really want to move.
Well, those comfy like. Yeah, and so Fort Collins is like a sister city to Eugene, the town I grew up in. Mm-hmm. And, and there were all these jokes about that, of just calling it... The Velvet Rut's a nice one. I don't think we ever had any, like, keen names for it, but there were all the jokes about, like, the fucking Native American curses on the people. Like, once you're there, you never leave, and people who leave always come back and shit like that, And, like,
it's the Hotel California problem.
Yeah, and there was just kind of that general malaise of people there who are just like, yeah, man, it's just all so easy here, but also not like you're not gonna get anywhere.
Yeah,
you're not gonna like blow up here or do anything.
You might be a big fish in a very little pond, but
you might be, and maybe you're just an alcoholic fish in a little pond too. And so I totally get that too.
Yeah.
I'm just like, man, I gotta at least just expand this living a little bit.
at least move this alcoholism to somewhere where there's going to be more shit to do with it.
Man, at least I can go see shows every night, or
there's like I'll be able to do a pub crawl that isn't just the same fucking 3 bars, So eventually I was just like, okay, I want to fucking do something with my lust for computers, and I'm going to move to fucking Portland and go to school. And unfortunately I chose possibly the worst school I could have chosen as far as in-person schools were concerned, because as many of you may know, it was ITT.
Yeah.
Technical Institute.
Man. And, you can't beat yourself up too much because they just preyed on people like you.
Absolutely.
Someone who's just coming to the city to get away and figure some shit out.
They blew just the right magic smoke up my ass.
They were perfect at that. Yeah.
And that's why they, were dissolved and had to surrender to a class action lawsuit, because they were absolutely a fucking criminal organization.
Yep.
But, I didn't see that at the time. So,
well, yeah, it's so hard to, because there are these, there are these lucrative jobs and these sort of fantasy. They paint these fantasies for you of like, oh, once you're done here, you're going to be making 3 figures or whatever, and just like you're going to be top dog in your field because we're like, and they paint this picture too of like we're the epitome of that, like ITT, Art Institute, like.
Exactly. Same shit.
Same shit. Yeah. All these trade schools, but they're really just predatory for-profit schools.
Oh yeah, exactly. And I mean, I should have seen it coming because I showed up and I was like, I don't really know what I want to do, but I'm pretty sure it has something to do with security because, like, I'm interested in hacking and that kind of stuff. And the guy was just kind of like, okay, man, like all the nerds want to fucking do hacking shit, but like, what you got to understand is the money's in networking. So. If you want to make 6 figures starting salary, all you got to do is get into this bachelor's program. And I'm like, yo, I'm just trying to get my associates. Like, I wasn't trying to do this bachelor's
6 figures. Did I say 3 figures earlier? I think I said 3 figures. Okay, yeah. Whatever. 3 figures plus 3 zeros. That's what I meant.
Fair. But, predictably, like, I got the dollar signs in my eyes and was just like, I mean, I don't hate networking. You're gonna have to do some security and networking, I'm sure. And fucking took the bait, hook, line, and sinker. And I spent the first I got a job before I even enrolled in school, just because I was like, okay, I gotta have some way to fucking support myself up here. Like, I don't want to just enroll in school and then try to figure it out, So I got this job at this place called the Selwood Pizza Pub. I don't think it still exists. I don't know how it can, unless Kevin's fucking mob ties were just that good. But, seriously, there was a guy with a pinky ring who would show up and, like, give him a check every now and then, and I'm just like, what the fuck is this all about? And he was like in deep with the Jehovah's Witnesses, even though he wasn't religious. Like,
okay,
it was a whole thing, man. Like, I don't know what Kevin's fucking scams were, but like, he was fucking scamming. And like, he almost got shut down because he was smoking meat at his house instead of like in a like licensed kitchen facility, and so like that was a big deal. You really can't do that.
I mean, you can't.
Well, actually, interestingly enough, they're planning on changing those regulations so that you can get your house certified if you want to. So you can do shit out of your house.
Yeah, totally.
Which is cool as fuck. I mean, like, honestly, it's kind of shitty that wasn't on the books before, but, like...
I agree. Like, I run the risk of food poisoning anywhere I go. I'm not really worried about, like, getting a meal from Ethel's house down the street as... like any more than I am than like going to Taco Bell or wherever. Yeah,
furthermore, like if somebody who's good at what they're doing is like living where they work, like it might even be cleaner than a different facility.
Easily, right?
Anyway, that's neither here nor there, but like, yeah, so I started out working at this pizza pub and going to school, and like through the employment program at ITT, I found out about this opportunity out in Beaverton at this facility called Stream, which I found out was a call center, which was a red flag.
Call center works.
I don't know how much we've talked about venture data on the podcast.
Man, like a little bit.
There's definitely a whole thing about venture
data. I think there was a lost episode.
That sounds about right.
Or an episode we decided to bag that had some.
There's definitely
some bits about that.
Like the bagged episode definitely has a ton of venture data content.
Yeah,
I don't think it was specifically about venture data. It might have been in the same. Anyway, it's neither here nor there. But suffice it to say that my experiences in the call center made me trepidatious about taking this job at first.
Yeah.
But, the more I dug down on it, the more I learned that, like, yes, this is a call center, but this is a contract that they're taking on that is entirely internet-based.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of a new thing that they're doing. It's a pilot program. And, if it's successful, then it's going to expand, et cetera, et cetera. And so I was like, okay, this sounds great. Like this is definitely worth fucking bailing on this bullshit ass pizza job. Like,
yeah.
And So yeah, I quit that pizza job and I took this job at Stream, and
you're like enrolled in ITT at this point?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly how long I'd been there. It'd been at least a couple of months, like maybe even like it couldn't have been that long, because I don't remember working at the pizza place for a terribly long time. But like, yeah, I wanted something that was going to be closer to my field, and like the pizza place was bullshit. Like, it was so poorly mismanaged. Like, it was either slammed and we just didn't have enough room for the fucking pizzas in the oven, or it was dead as fuck and like nobody was making any money. Man. And like, I worked with great people, like shout out to Dave, fucking DPL.
I mean, you always do, right? Like my worst restaurant job, I mean, I worked with great people, but it was like one of the worst jobs I ever had. I should say my first restaurant job.
Oh, fair. Yeah. But there was a dude working there who was the line cook who like produces house. His name is DPL. Like, go listen to his music. That guy is cool as fuck.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, so I quit with no notice because fuck Kevin and Diane. And actually, I don't remember if her name was Diane. I might be fucking this up. Anyway, fuck Kevin. And
definitely fuck Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin can go fucking suck rocks. But I got this job at Stream, and I show up for the training. And
well, and so you've already done call center work, so you're just all right, man. Like, I guess I'm going back to call center.
Well,
work.
and I should present this correctly, because like I've definitely signed an NDA, but I don't know how long that shit lasts. And fucking come at me, Microsoft. But
Gates.
It's not Gates. It's Ballmer now. It's Ballmer.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Fucking
come at me, Ballmer.
Yeah, man.
But actually, I don't remember if Ballmer's still there or not. But, you know, he cried over Windows, so, like, he's the memey one. But, anyway, so, yeah, Microsoft, at this point in time, was trying to launch their own AdSense program. And AdSense is a Google advertising platform.
Right.
That just presents ads based on your search results.
Right, but, so this was with Microsoft, so this was Bing?
Okay,
or what were they pushing back then?
This was before Bing, I wonder, or maybe like concurrent with Bing.
Or like, did they
Bing
buy
adjacent?
Netscape and they were like doing Netscape? Like, what was...
So this is... Fuck, I forget when Bing became a thing, but this is like around 2006-ish.
Okay, in 2006.
So it was either Bing or Internet Explorer 11 or whatever the last version of it was. But
but what was their... like search engine?
Okay, so it was Bing. It had to be Bing.
Had to have been, right?
Because it was right, because it was results from Microsoft's search engine. So yes, I'm sorry. It was absolutely Microsoft's AdSense program for Bing.
Wow, okay. Yeah.
And it was
so a little bit before Google really did it.
No, Google was already doing AdSense.
Were they?
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess I'm not.
That's why I'm saying it was they were trying to do their version of AdSense, and Google had been doing AdSense for a while.
Okay.
And Microsoft was just kind of like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, we have to do something like this.
We're missing out on...
Yeah, because we're just leaving millions of dollars on the table here. And so they set up this group at Stream. I want to say that like the initial hiring level was like 500 people or something like that. Mm-hmm. And our job was going to be editing the copy for the ads. To mostly just to determine if they violated any laws or the terms of Microsoft's ads agreement. And their shit was way more locked down than AdSense was, Google's version. Because, and I wish I could remember the name of Microsoft's program, but it's probably better for my NDA that I don't. So... Google would allow certain levels of nudity, like you could see an ass crack or like cleavage.
Sure.
You know, it was pretty like Victoria's Secret level of allowing nudity. You know, it was like, as long as the important bits are covered, who cares, kind of a deal.
Right.
And they would also allow, I want to say, like, gun parts, as long as it wasn't like trigger assemblies or things that could actually like fire a bullet. Like you could buy and sell those on Google AdSense. And so with Microsoft's program, like any kind of gun parts weren't allowed. Any kind of fucking ass crack or cleavage or underboob was not allowed.
Oh, that was all not allowed under Microsoft.
It was all banned. Exactly.
Oh,
and
interesting.
So they had to have some more like, well, and also because AI wasn't very refined at this point, like they had to have a bunch of people reviewing all of these ads to make sure that they met their fucking criteria.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the job.
But then, like, how is it a call center?
So they were just setting a fucking wing of this building up as this editorial.
I see.
Center.
So you weren't call center job.
We
were just doing this
We were working out of a building that was mostly a call center.
Interesting.
And in fact, the cube farm that we were in was set up like a call center, complete with headsets and fucking dialing pads and shit when we first moved in.
Wild.
But, that equipment quickly got shuffled away, apart from, like, some other draconian fucking, like, time clock shit. But,
yeah, of course, right?
Man. That all became apparent after training, but, like, when we moved in, it was just like, they just kind of took, like, a quarter of a call center and we're just like, here you go. And so we showed up for training, and we got divided up into smaller groups, and there's fucking hundreds of us. And I don't remember exactly how long it took, but it was at least a couple of days. And we had badges that we had to scan in with and shit, and like it was just a bunch of fucking like kids and like burned out adults, pretty much. And
wait, I have one more other question. I want to paint the picture. So Stream, the company Stream, they are a call center.
They are a call center.
Are they a Microsoft affiliate?
No. So they were contracted with Microsoft. They also did Comcast customer support.
I see.
Did
they do Stream internet service as well? Because that was like the thing in the late 2000s. Yeah, right? Like I remember around 2010 there was like an internet service called Stream.
Maybe not. I might be conflating two things, but
I could see that it wouldn't be the same thing, but I was just curious.
They definitely did customer support for ISPs, so it wouldn't be outside the realm of possibility. But I just don't know for sure that they did that.
Maybe they even pivoted after that to become their own ISP around 2010. Because when I worked at Best Buy, I swear to God we sold internet called Stream, and we had like a rep.
It's not impossible. They were also like part of like they were doing support for Slingbox when it was still in beta. Like
interesting. Okay,
they did a bunch of shit.
But then like they contracted out a chunk of their office block for this project.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. I got a clear picture now.
It's a huge fucking building, and Stream only took up part of it.
Yeah.
And Stream had several thousand square feet. I mean, it was huge. There was big different wings of just that business, and then that was only part of this massive fucking block office building. Like Beaverton's insane, dude.
Beaverton is insane. Yeah, the tech out there and like the big tech facilities are just wild.
It's just like they build these fucking huge ass buildings that are just like one room for like hundreds of thousands of square feet, and then they just divide those off with firewalls.
I work by the Comcast facility out there, and they have their own frisbee golf course on their facility. It is super crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and so
they will straight up fucking kick your ass off of that thing if you're like seem like you don't work for Comcast. So.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because it's on like a private fucking thing. Yeah, it's
all
crazy.
Right. But yeah, this place is actually on. Is it Beaver Creek? The fucking the actual creek that runs through Beaverton next to the Max line.
Yeah, I think that is Beaver Creek.
So yeah,
I mean it's all right there.
Stream is actually right on Beaver Creek. So
I believe it.
I think that's where they got their name from.
I
could be completely wrong.
I mean, the tech sprawl from like Cedar Hills, like west, is just fucking crazy, man. You got like Intel, Yahoo, Nike, Microsoft, then all these other smaller companies, one of which I work for.
Yeah.
And I mean,
I'm pretty sure
wild.
Stream isn't too far from the Nike campus. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, it's probably right there.
It's close to where
right in there.
Kmart used to be. I know that.
Yep.
Anyway, so I show up for training, and it's really weird and corporate. Like, there's all these packets with fucking
of course, right?
Microsoft butterfly logos all over everything, because MSN was still a big deal back then too.
Somehow they worked in the Brian Eno sound into every page turn. Just like
oh shit. Yeah, and they had some of the hokiest fucking trainers,
oh, of course.
And I'm fucking tech savvy. I'm going to school for this shit, and I know what I'm fucking talking about. And this guy's giving this fucking training about what we're you got to look at the web address, but he's calling the web address URLs. As in a URL.
Yeah, dude.
And I'm like, man, I've been around the block a few times. I've literally heard no one call a URL a URL.
A URL?
He's like, yeah, it's just industry jargon. And I'm like,
you're like, no, it's not, dude.
That's fucking bullshit. He's like, so when we're referring to those in this class, we're gonna call it a URL.
Where'd they find your ass, man? I should have your job right now,
dude,
right now, just based on that alone.
This guy straight up had a fucking rat tail 2 feet long.
No.
Yeah, he's balding. The whole rest of his head was trimmed pretty short, but then he's just got this fucking rat tail, and I'm
dude,
like, what are you doing, man?
You should have had a fucking show called My Name Is Ural.
Oh my god, yeah, exactly. Fuck that guy. Yeah, he called me up to do something, and I was like, oh, he's like, this, that, and the other, what's the answer to this? I'm like, oh, it's the Earl, and he's like, it's called a URL.
Whoa, yeah, not Earl.
Whoa,
Ural.
buddy, not only does no one call it that, but you're gonna fucking correct me when I tried to say your bullshit term and mildly fucked it up? Fuck you, dude.
Yeah, man.
Holy shit. Anyway. I mean, it makes more sense. I don't know. Anyway. Fuck that guy. But he thought he was some kind of rock star. Just yeah, I'm the fucking trainer guy. Nobody can fucking beat me. You guys are in the best training class. You guys are going to do so good. And I'm just who the fuck are you, dude?
Lower middle management. And he was probably enticed with menial bonuses to get fucking people trained up in certain ways. And so that's why he was all pumped up and jazzed about it and stuff,
Yeah, and dude, I don't know how many of these weird group trainings you've been through, but
an unfortunate amount, honestly.
People's personalities really kind of show through on those things, and I really thought that I was reading some people seeing through the fucking bullshit and be okay, I see who the fuck you are because of how this shit is going down. There's this one woman who's just got a comment for everything, and just I'm a mom, so blah blah blah, and I'm just oh man, I really hope I don't get stuck with this one. And
oh yeah,
sure enough, I did when we got assigned our seatings, and my manager for my little group, because they had
are you sharing the cubicle block with her? You're gonna be right next to her, so back to back or something?
Yeah, it's there's little cube blocks, each little block has 4 cubes in it, or whatever, and I'm just I don't want this fucking den mother to be my cube mom, so
well, she, you didn't have the Karen term at the time, but you probably thought she was a real Karen.
Well, yeah, more just a fucking church busybody, you know what I'm saying?
All right, I mean that Venn diagram's got some overlap though.
It was more just I thought that I was just gonna have to listen to her talk about her fucking dumbass kids all the time, I'm sorry, some people have cool kids and I fucking love them, but dude, just because you have kids doesn't mean you're cool, and it doesn't mean that your kids are cool.
Nope, and it doesn't mean that that's a story you need to tell.
Yeah. But so anyway, my manager seemed pretty fucking cool. She had dyed fire truck red hair and seemed kind of goth, and I'm just all right, we're probably gonna get along. And so
so the rat tail
That guy was just a trainer.
Your old rat tail.
Yeah. I might be skimming over some shit from training that I'm forgetting. There's definitely some more funny stories there.
That's my, that's going to be my country artist.
But the fucking...
your old rat tail.
My name is your old fucking rat tail guy. Like, fuck. Yeah, and like, you know, most of what he was doing was just like, oh yeah, well no, actually this is I'm sorry, before we get into the den mother shit, this is actually a good opportunity for us to go over like what we were actually doing, because like I already mentioned that we couldn't let like side boobs and butts and cleavage in,
right,
or like gun parts, but like there was also like words that aren't swears that we couldn't allow that were like on a list, you know. It was like butthole and like stuff like that. Yeah, it was just like, wait, what?
Okay.
And like,
because I was thinking about this. I was like, okay, so like pseudo nudity, gun shit, and then like racial slurs obviously would be out.
And absolutely, and you know, just like a bunch of language stuff, and so what we were doing was we were going through this checklist of like images and words, and then like even like links. You know, we had to make sure that all the links worked, and that like the landing page from the link was like the product page, and that you didn't have to like click through some other shit to get to the product. Because like that was a big thing that people were trying to do, was like these fucking clickbait scams where it's like you click on this link to a product, but you have to like click through all this other shit that's trying to sell you stuff. And I mean, we'll get to this later, but like almost all of the people who are trying to advertise on this platform were violating in some way or another, because
oh, really?
It was like people who couldn't get onto Google.
Oh.
And so since they had even harsher rules than Google, it was just like, oh, well, this wouldn't fly with AdSense. It's definitely not going to fly with us.
Right.
And so, yeah, this whole training thing was just like basically like, here's how you're going to deny literally every single ad that you're going to get. If we will ever get ads, which is some more foreshadowing.
I also just realized that I want CAPTCHAs to be like, pick all the pictures with side boob.
Right? I'm sorry. I feel like they've got enough traffic lights, you know?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm so sick of picking chimneys and traffic lights. Come on, give me something fun. Right? Give me a better mini game. Like, dude.
Well, and I get finding the crosswalk and the traffic light, because we're basically just training their fucking driving algorithm. But like, chimneys?
Shit, right.
What the fuck are chimneys about? I don't get that. In boats?
Yeah.
How does boats have anything to do with your fucking driving algorithm, you bastards? Anyway, I digress. But yeah, so...
Gates, if you're listening, I'm going to need some side boob captions.
Fucking hook it up, Google. Give me that side boob captcha. But yeah, so, you know, there was a woman in my training that I was just like, I don't know, she's probably going to drive me crazy, and she's in my fucking cube, so...
Yeah.
Since my manager, who seemed cool, was like, yeah, if you like have any problems with your seating arrangements, just come let me know. Which was a trap.
Oh no.
So I came and I let her know, and she was like, oh really?
You just immediately were like, there's no way I'm gonna get along with this woman. Yep. So like, I'm just gonna head this off.
Yep. And like, I probably should have given it a minute, but we'll get to that. So, you know, like,
something books by their cover and all that.
Yeah, you know, like, I was annoyed by her in training, and so I'm just like, okay, like, I'm probably just going to be annoyed by her. So, you know, I was just like, oh, let's get this out of the way right now before like I sit there for a week with her, you know, because I hadn't even sat down yet. I just knew where my desk was supposed to be. And so I'm like, okay, if I do this now, it's not going to be awkward, you know? And so I go to my manager and I'm just like, hey, like, no big deal if, like, you know.
I so know where this is going.
You can't make this happen. But, like, I don't know. She just rubbed me the wrong way during training. And if, like, you've got a spot that's chill, like, I could go over there. And she's like, I have got the spot for you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for the people who speak up and are worried about this sort of thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, we got a basement for your ass.
Oh, man, did she take me back to the fucking corner of the fucking building. And, like, there's nobody over there. It's a fucking ghost town, apart from this woman who's, like... And, like, man, I am not trying to fat shame anyone here, but, like... Homegirl was big, and like had to use a trackball because she couldn't move her arm enough to use a mouse.
Oof. I mean, that's tough.
And,
yeah.
like, she was one of the coolest fucking folks that I met there. So, like, I'm not trying to throw any shade on her.
Right.
Like, fucking love her. But, like, it was her and then another woman who seemed perfectly normal when I met her. And I was like, what are you doing over here in no man's land?
Yeah, at the, like...
You know?
The reject table, basically.
Yeah.
You're just like,
it was the Island of Broken Toys. And like,
dude.
you know, I want to say that there might have been someone else in there, but I don't remember them. So we'll just say that those were the only two people in my fucking queue with me.
There's another guy with a rat tail, but he didn't last long.
No.
only room for one rat tail in that building.
Like there might have even been like another homie in there who was just like, after like a week of that shit, was just like, I can't fucking hang.
I'm out.
Because it turns out like
turnover on that job or on those kinds of jobs are like insane.
Oh, we will get to that too.
Yeah.
But like just to like drill down on like what was actually happening in this cube is like there's the lady who's like got the trackball, and then there's the woman who seemed perfectly reasonable. Until I was there for at least like an hour or so.
Oh no.
And she had a little time to fucking unravel a little bit. And was just like, everyone's always fucking talking about me, and like I can't take it anymore. So what I do is I put in these earplugs, and then I put on headphones, and I listen to music so that I can't hear what they're saying about me. I'm like, oh, well, that seems perfectly normal.
Interesting.
Who's talking about you? I don't want to say. But, you know, people have said
And
things.
this is like an hour into your first shift?
Oh, maybe a couple. I don't know. But, like, I was just, like...
Okay.
Just trying to be cool and chill and like whatever, and like then she fucking puts in these foam earplugs and puts on like these really shitty headphones and just starts blasting smooth jazz at the maximum volume.
So she's blasting smooth jazz through earplugs.
Yes. That's what's happening.
So like she kind of like built her own noise canceling headphones.
It was the worst noise-canceling headphones that have ever been built.
But they're not noise-canceling for anyone else, just for her.
Nope. She's just hearing really muted fucking Tom Jones, you know, like...
Oh, man.
Not Tom Jones, but yeah, you know, like fucking just the worst fucking Pat Metheny that you can imagine. Like,
oh, God. No.
Tom Grant, that's what I was trying to think of. Anyway.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so bad. And, like, you know, you can hear
it.
Everything, but, like... It's tinny, it's distorted, it's bad.
Because she's cranking it
to
get it through the head or through the earplugs.
Yeah, but it's like a bad fucking set of headphones to begin with, you know?
Dude. Beats by Dre weren't out by at that point. Side note, don't buy Beats by Dre.
Never.
Trash
ever.
headphones.
Yeah, but I mean, like... I wish I could remember what the brand was, because I was like, Jesus.
Oh, my God.
But yeah, I'm just like... Really? You think that this is a reasonable thing to do? Like, we can all hear that shit. And she's like, I can't take it. I can't take what people say about me around here. So I just need to drown it out. And I'm like, okay. And mind you, there was two women on the other side of the wall from us who would have very loud conversations about their sex lives.
Oh, no.
And maybe she took umbrage with that one day, and so they started talking shit about her. I don't know.
I mean...
because I literally never heard anyone talking shit about her.
I guess people who, like, loudly talk about their sex lives are probably also gossipy, like, office people, too. So, like,
I can only imagine. But, like...
Who knows?
I never figured out what her damage was, but, like, she was, like... And she got crazier as time went on, too.
No.
Like, just would just kind of unravel sometimes. And I'm just like, okay, maybe this is all just your deal. You know?
No,
I don't know.
Dude.
But it's fucked up. So I started having to bring my fucking Discman to work because I didn't have a fucking iPod at that point in time.
Nope. Right?
And, you know, headphones. And I'm just like, okay, like, I got to drown this shit out somehow, you know?
Oh, man.
But yeah, so for the first, God, I don't even know how long, like, that we were on the job. Like, we got out of training, and they were like, okay, so, you know, when we have work, you'll find ads in your bucket, and you'll edit those ads, and you'll turn them in when you're done, and then, you know, after a little while, you'll get more ads in your bucket, and you'll just, there'll be kind of this rhythm to it. And like sometimes there's just going to be a lot of ads. You might not even be able to get through your whole bucket in a day, but like that's fine. It's just, this is kind of how the system is working. And there were no ads at all.
What?
For a very long time.
Really?
Yeah. Because they, like I said, were kind of doing this pilot program, and so they got all of their labor set up before they really had any product. Like no one had really like started buying ads with them.
Oh,
yet.
shit.
Yeah, well, and I mean, I guess from a certain perspective that makes sense. Like, you have to have someone somewhere who's editing that shit at some point before you can like really publish it.
Right? I mean, chicken egg complex sort of thing, like, yeah, you can't suddenly just get flooded with work and then get backlogged and scramble to get it all done.
Exactly.
But also, like,
you'd think that they would have had some people like in their beta, like some clients that they'd lined up for the beta program.
Well, so you scale it, right? You scale it.
You would think.
It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
And in 2006, you were able to do these big hiring pushes and get lots of people, like...
Yeah. And so,
Shit seemed... Okay, yeah. Fucking crazy, dude.
We fucked around for a while, like, just doing training shit, and then, like... Because I want to say it was a few weeks. Like, we did the whole Ural shit, like, first day. And then, like, we had, these, like, practice groups that we were in, and, like, those moved around.
Oh, yeah.
We were, like... pretending to do the stuff
where they were giving you side boob captures.
Exactly.
You're like, what do you think is acceptable here?
Right.
And you're like, well,
I was like, okay, but like that shit was over pretty quick, and then it was just like, okay, like, hey man, I found this fucking Zelda emulator that's getting through the fucking filters. Like,
yeah,
we can fucking play Ocarina of Time. I was like, dope, and like the shit was just kind of flowing around. Like people are just like, yeah, like.
Well, and so this is this whole cubicle block. So everyone's just sitting around, not getting work.
Yeah,
just not being sent work.
No one's doing shit for whole entire shifts, for whole entire days, for whole entire weeks.
My God,
and like. Yeah, and so there were like kids who were fresh out of high school who after the first couple of weeks were already starting to lose their shit because it's like, I can't just sit here all day and do nothing.
Well, it's really uncomfortable. So I've had jobs where you have like a lot of downtime, and I've learned to like manage this better, like at the point that I'm at now that I'm a very completionist anti-work sort of person, where almost always I will take advantage of my job unless they're treating me well, and literally almost no job ever has. So, there's that. But it is really fucking uncomfortable when you're just like, okay, I'm here, I'm clocked in, there's fucking nothing to do.
Right.
But you feel this kind of looming presence of someone looking over your shoulder, and I'm sure I'm sure you had management walking around. No?
We didn't.
They were just like nothing, man?
Yep, it was just a fucking total nothing burger.
They're just like fucking red-haired chicks gonna just assign people to like the cubicle they want,
well,
and then just like, that's that.
She'd maybe breeze past a couple of times, but she'd just be like, hey guys.
Yep.
That was it.
So she wasn't really peeking in. But then you're also on a computer, so you also maybe have the feeling that like people are piping in, checking in on your work. But then if your bucket's empty...
Yeah, that was the thing. There's no work to be done. So,
but it is like nerve-wracking, dude, because I've had jobs where I've had no work to do and like come to my manager multiple times and been like, hey, what can I be doing? Because there's nothing going on. And they're like, honestly, man, nothing. Like...
Yeah, no, there's nothing to do. But get this. We had this fucking punch clock on our fucking desk where we always had to be like logged into a certain code, and like you couldn't get up without like punching in the bathroom code.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it was okay. Like, it didn't matter how long your bathroom breaks were.
Sure, but they were just monitoring kind of your
bathroom breaks like 6 times a day.
Yeah, but they were monitoring your every movement.
Absolutely.
While also not giving you any work to do.
And so, like, and you had to change your code, like, if you were working on ads or if you were idle. And that was, like, part of how they would, like, figure out what was going on,
Weird.
And, like, it was a whole thing, man. And, like, I actually just stopped punching out for the bathroom after a while because I was like,
yeah,
who
man,
fucking cares?
I need you to track my every movement.
Like, is somebody gonna come ask me if I've why I haven't used the bathroom all day?
I'm like, clearly they weren't.
Who fucking cares? Exactly. Oh, and so this kid who's like fucking fresh out of high school is like actually starting to exhibit some fucking signs of like psychological break. Is just like, is this a fucking social experiment? Like,
he's like, is this a job?
Like,
or is this something else?
Sense? Like,
I do feel that though, right? Because it is starting to sound less like a job and more like a fucking Stanford prison experiment.
And it kept going, man. And so, like, the reason I found out that I fucked up with the fucking seating arrangement is, like, I'm trying to console this kid, and he's like, yeah, man, the only thing that keeps me going is this woman. Like, she's bringing us snacks every day. Like,
yeah,
she's, like, played every video game and, like, just wants to talk to us about, like, Assassin's Creed and shit. And, like... Fucking, she brought in a fucking like a Game Boy, and we just passed it around all day. And like, she's got all these game emulators, and I'm like, what the fuck? I thought she was gonna be this weirdo Christian den mom, and she's like this badass gamer baker. Like, fuck.
Oh man, and I went and fucking self-relegated myself to the fucking the high school loser table.
Exactly.
Like, oh no.
But the cool thing was like
the cool thing is I'm getting lots of tinny low volume Pat Metheny fucking jazz.
God. Well, the cool thing is like both of those women 100% kept to themselves. Like, Jazz Weirdo was essentially in a closet the whole time, and like homegirl on the fucking other side was just content to fucking read her news and like do her own thing. Like,
yeah,
I mean, we could have said anything and she wouldn't have fucking turned around. It was she was chill as fuck. And so like,
all right.
I made a few friends in like other fucking cubes, and like they found out that my cube was like in the literal corner of the building, and like they could just kind of come fuck off over there. And, like, no one would know where they were. And so we kind of got the Breakfast Club going over there.
Yeah.
You know, Jazz Weirdo would freak out sometimes because she'd turn around and there's like fucking 3 dudes hanging out on the end of the cube. You know, just like, whoa, what are all these people here? Like, oh, God.
They're talking about me, aren't they?
Ah! And she'd like fucking freak out and run to the bathroom with her fucking headphones on, you know, and just like, oh, boy. But, yeah, so, like, after, oh, God, it must have been at least a month. I want to say it was, like, 2 months. And then they had, like, a big meeting. And, like, a guy from Microsoft was there. And it was, like, you know, he had this whole presentation about, like, the future for ad.
Did he have one of those fucking, those microphones that, you know, like not one you hold, like the little like clip around that just like...
Are you kidding? Of course he did.
Yeah, dude. He better have.
I mean, absolutely.
You can't be the big tech bro without one of those.
And his PowerPoint didn't work at first, and the whole nine. It was great.
His own Microsoft program like fucked up, and he had to like call a guy like an unpaid intern over to be like, actually, it
was like a good 10 minutes of dead air while he was just like trying to shoot the shit with us and just be like, so how do you guys feel about working for Microsoft? You know, just like, oh my fucking God, could this be any more awkward?
Yep. And like, so, well, if we keep not having to work, but you pay us, like, I love it.
Right? And so eventually, like, he gets through his whole thing and he moves it to a Q&A, which was a bold move.
Oh, no.
And, like, you know, one person actually has the brass balls to be like, how long can you pay us to not work?
Yes! I mean, and everyone's like, God damn it, dude. But also, like, you're so right.
Well, we all sit up a little bit and, like, you know, it's like, oh, all right. Fucking balls in your court, Microsoft dude. And he's like, oh, actually, I anticipated that this might be a question, and so I sent this one up the ladder. And the word that I got is that they are capable of employing everyone at this level for the next 5 years without doing any ads. And we were like,
whoa,
what in the fucking nuclear fuck? Like,
okay, so now that feels like you are in a social experiment, because dude just point blank admitted to you, I will employ you for 5 more years even if you never do one single second of work.
And like I could be fucking this up. It might have been 2 years.
Okay.
But even if it was
if he
2
said
years,
2 weeks, it's still a crazy thing to say to someone.
Yes.
Like,
this is 500 fucking people.
Yeah.
Like, my God. And it wasn't minimum. It wasn't great, but it wasn't minimum.
Yeah, like you were probably getting
like a couple bucks above minimum or whatever.
I mean,
but
cubicle
like,
work's always a couple of bucks above fucking fry line work. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, that's the whole deal. But so, you know, we're all just like, what in the shitting crikey? Like, this is insane. How is this even a thing?
Yeah. How is that a thing?
And like, spoiler alert, it wasn't.
Oh, okay.
They started downsizing like well after this, but like way before fucking 2 years.
Okay.
Anyway, so eventually the program did start crashing and shit started shutting down. But like, I was in there for a long fucking time before they even moved us. And
how long did you work at this place? And how long did you go without doing a single lick of work?
Honestly, I should have looked this up because I don't remember.
Yeah.
I didn't work there for more than a year.
But like a year? Up to a year,
and we
potentially?
did get ads eventually.
Okay, so you did start doing some amount of work.
And it wasn't more than like...
But if you went from 0 to work, then you weren't suddenly just bombarded, right? You weren't suddenly just busy at work, right?
Actually, the first day that we got ads, it was. Up until, like, the ad platform crashed. And then we just had nothing. But, like, at first, it was, like...
I love that.
Of course that's how it works, right?
It's like, hey, everyone. Fucking Rat Tail walks in. Hey, everyone. We're going to have to do some work today. And then it's like, that lasts for no time at all. And then it's like... actually, we're going to start laying people off.
Well, so here's what happened. And, like, I don't remember how many months it was. I want to say it was at least 2 or 3 months. It could have been as long as 6 months before we actually had ads. But I want to say it was, like, 2 or 3.
Okay.
And then, you know, we show up one day, and, like, our boss is, like, walking around, like, with a fucking espresso enema, just like, you guys have ads. We're working on ads today. Shit. No, I'm sorry. I'm skipping a whole fucking part here. Because, like, the social experiment got worse before we got ads.
Okay.
Like,
well, yeah, you said that, like, after this Microsoft guy shows up, you still had somewhere in the range of 2 months of continuing to not do work at all.
So, like, a week or two, maybe a month after Microsoft dude shows up, and mind you, this was like a couple or 3 months in when he showed up.
Right.
We still had a gap, and like during that time, they were like, okay, Microsoft wants us to start quizzing you guys. We're going to have daily quizzes and weekly quizzes that all have, like, deadlines, and you guys need to get these in on time.
Oh, man.
And
we're going to have to make you guys do anything.
Yeah, and it was all just stuff from the training manual, so, like, you know, we had all the answers. We just had to, like, look them up.
That makes me wonder if there was, an Antiwork, like, upper middle management who was like, how do I keep 500 people staffed who don't do fucking anything? Because I'm liking not doing anything, and what if I fucking looked out for these folks? And so what I'm going to do is make them take little surveys.
It was from Microsoft, according to our management. They were just like, look, these guys don't want to keep paying you guys to do nothing, and they want to make sure that you're keeping your training up to date.
Yeah.
So, like, dude, you're going to have these quizzes. And at first I was like, I mean, are you going to fire me because I didn't do a fucking quiz? This isn't fucking high school, man.
Oh, man.
So for, like, a good solid...
But it already sounds so much like high school.
Right? And, like, you know, the kid who's like, this is a social experiment, totally lost his shit when we started getting homework.
Yeah, dude.
And I think he quit not too long after that.
I wouldn't be surprised.
And, I mean, like, kudos to him. But, like... You know, the homework started showing up, and I was just like, fuck it, what are they going to do, right? And so I'd made friends with this dude named Brian, and, like, I was playing World of Warcraft really heavily at the time, and I think he had either just started playing or had just quit playing. I don't remember what the deal was, but he was like, dude, I want to fucking design a video game. Like, what do you think about just building like a tactics fucking strategy game? And I was like,
hell yeah,
let's do it. And so we were just kind of like brain jamming like in our spare time because there's fucking nothing to do.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, why not try to design a video game? Like, I'm tired of playing fucking emulated ROMs, and like there's only so much cracked I can read, and like I can't really read a book with fucking jazz blasting, so like fuck,
man.
You know?
Right.
And so like I'd started hanging out.
And like, were you still trying to like, I mean, everyone knew that there was no work to do, but were you still trying to like look busy? Like, if you just busted out a book.
No, like there was no limits. Like, as long as you were in your seat, you could read a book, you could surf the web, whatever. You just couldn't like break through the fucking, you know, the whitelist on the IPs. It was just basically like any gaming site, you know, whatever.
Okay, sure.
You don't want anybody playing games on their fucking broadband, you know, but like...
So you couldn't play WoW at work.
Precisely. When you like... They would block, like, flash game sites and stuff, too, you know, because they're productivity killers and whatever.
Right,
but like,
which is
we
hilarious.
found ways around it.
Of course.
But yeah, so... You know, I'm fucking just trying to kill as much time as I can, and you know, I meet a few people who are of like minds, and like we start hanging out as much as we can, and I learned that I could just go smoke weed down by the creek on my lunch break, and like take my entire lunch break just getting stoned, and then come back and just buy lunch and eat it in my cube.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what I started doing, and like everybody else started doing that too, and like we get like 3 or 4 or 5 dudes like down to the creek getting stoned every day, and like
this is so straight up high school, man.
Oh yeah, it was fucking exactly high school.
Holy shit.
At Stream. And yeah, and then eventually we started getting ads and actually had to work, but like I said, the shit would fucking die regularly, and so and I mean, there weren't necessarily always ads either, and like
right, so because you didn't go from 0 to 60, so it'd be like trickle-ins of work. It was like, trickles, oh shit, I guess we're working today.
Yeah, and like at first they had a big fucking dump, you know, but like we cleared through that in like the first day or two. Like, you know, like I said, the first day got cut short, but then like the second day we cleared through the rest of the ads before, I mean, like maybe like halfway through the day, maybe a little later, but like we were done,
man,
after like a day and a half or so. And then it was just little trickles here and there. Like some people, like one little cube is all working on ads, and everybody else in the next cube over is just fucking chilling, you know. It was weird, and I don't know. I just started getting really burned out. I'm just like, man, fuck it. Like, I just don't even care anymore. Like I said, I wasn't clocking out to go to the bathroom. Like,
right.
You know, I was fucking eating lunch at my desk while I was clocked in for work. You know, it was a whole thing.
I'm convinced this was a social experiment.
It really wasn't. Like, it was actually just a very poorly run fucking pilot program.
Yeah, but like, holy shit, man. When you're like literally describing the job I want right now, and then you're just like, I'm literally starting to like burn out on this because it like doesn't make sense anymore. That to me means like we're fucking seeing what the reaches of like people are willing to do when they're and this is like, well, not to deviate too hard, but this is like what we were talking about at the beginning of the episode. Anti-work isn't about not wanting to work. People want to like do shit. People want to like do something.
So not to derail this too much, and like definitely like there's a lot more story here, but like the crux of the fucking biscuit is like I fucking lost my mind because if I'm gonna do nothing, I want to do it on my own fucking terms. I don't want to sit there in a place where I have very limited options of how to distract myself just so that I can collect a fucking pittance.
But yeah, but also just like roll into the office and reading a book and reading cracked articles and getting a paycheck for it's like kind of just awesome.
It was. And I was one of the people who was able to fucking deal with it.
Yeah.
But and when I say I was getting burned out, I just mean I was getting burned out on like jumping through the hoops.
Yeah.
You know, like, fucking pretending to fucking do all the things that I had to pretend to do to, like...
Yeah.
You know, actually get paid to not work. But, so, like, eventually, there was a day where, you know, we hadn't had ads in, like, 2 weeks. And, you know, I'm just fucking bored. Like, I don't know, the book I was reading wasn't fucking doing it for me that day. And, like, I'd already read all of the fucking articles that I wanted to read. And, like, I was bored with my fucking CDs. I didn't have a fucking MP3 player. So,
right?
Like, I just had a really limited amount of music. I mean, I burned a bunch of CDs, but whatever. You know, I was fucking just
crawling out of your skin a little.
Yeah, you know, I was just like, all right, none of this shit is working. And so I was like, you know what? My buddy Brian, who I'd mentioned, like, that we were working on a game with, he lived just down the street, like 2 Beaverton blocks away, which is like a 10-minute walk.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. We could make this a really long bathroom break. And I just didn't even change my fucking code. I just got up from my desk and left the fucking building.
Yeah.
I walked all the way down to Brian's house, and I knock on his door, and he's like, oh no, that's right, I texted him to let him know I was coming. And he's just like, what's up, dude? And I'm like, hey man, what are you doing? And he's like, not much. You want to get stoned? And I'm like, fuck yeah. And so we get high, and like, I think we were like fucking playing a game.
I mean, that is the next move, because it's just like, I'm not working, nobody notices anything.
Yep.
What if I just weren't even here at all?
That's exactly right. I'm just like, I mean, what are they gonna do?
Yeah.
Like, honestly, what are they gonna do?
Yeah. If they even notice.
Exactly.
Which it sounds like they won't.
And so so I'm sitting there, and he's like, fuck it, man, do you want a beer? I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah, I do.
So we start cracking beers. We were like watching TV or playing. I think we were just like passing the controller back and forth for like some fucking mindless fucking game. You know, just chilling, shooting the shit. And his roommate comes and fucking hangs out, and he's drinking a beer. And eventually, like, this dude named Dave, who was like also working there, who's like not really the homie, but like he hangs out. So we're just like, yeah, fucking you're cool, man. Like, whatever, you know, like you're a little weird, but like fucking come hang out. And so like he's really into fucking Warhammer 40k, and so like we're like, that's cool, like show us your minis and shit. And like so he texts me, and he's like, hey man, where are you? And I'm like, I'm at Brian's, what's up? And he's like, I'm just on my lunch break and wanted to know if you wanted to get high. And I'm like, yeah man, let me see if and so I was just like, hey Brian, like, is it cool if Dave comes over? And he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, he wants to get high. And he's like, yeah, tell him to come over. So like, yeah, come down to Brian's, here's the address, it's like 2 blocks away or whatever. And like 10 minutes later, here's fucking Dave. And so like, you know, he's on his lunch break, he's actually clocked out. And so like he gets high and like forgets, and then like ends up going back like for like, you know, 15 maybe 30 minutes late on his lunch break. It's just like, well, whatever, you know.
And you're just on an unclocked out bathroom. You're just on a walk away.
Yeah, I am clocked in at my desk without being there. And I'm just like, Dave, next time you do this, like, don't fuck around with the lunch break. He's like, oh, I don't want to get fired. I'm like, well, you will if you take an hour lunch.
Right.
But if you're at your desk...
But if you just leave...
Yeah, exactly. He's like...
No one's really going to pay attention
to that. Well, what if somebody comes by and notices I'm gone? I'm like, when does that ever happen?
Who could possibly do that?
Right? He's like, oh, right. And so he takes off, and like, you know, Brian says some shit about like how bad Dave's feet smell, and I'm like, yeah, I mean... Dude's just wearing fucking leather boots, and I don't know if he ever showers, so like,
oh no.
Like, yeah, all right. Anyway, and so like we just keep drinking, and like I think like 3 hours, like more than 3 hours had gone by, and Brian's like, dude, are you ever gonna go back to work? I'm like, oh shit. Yeah, I should probably go back. And he's like, yeah, man, I mean, like, whatever, like, you're welcome to hang out, but like, I'm just like, Jesus, dude. I'm like, yeah, this. I mean, like, I was testing something here. We've gone way too far. He's like, yeah, good luck, man. So, like, I haul ass back to work, like, buzzed as fuck, reeking of marijuana, and you know, I'm like trying to take the back road through all the fucking cubes to get back to the corner of the building.
Yeah, dude.
And just run smack into my fucking boss. And she's like, oh, hey, you have ads in your bucket. And I'm like, really? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, cool. She's like, yeah, right on. I'm like,
that's
just
it?
fucking trundles off. Yep.
Fuck.
That was it.
That's it?
Yep.
Wow.
So I sat down and ran through a bunch of fucking side boob and fucking rifle parts and, you know, canceled them all and got on with it.
Dude, your old... Okay, I've been trying to think. Your old rat tail and the rifle parts. There's my country.
That's the one. That's the one. Oh, God. I think his name was like... His name was Earl. I mean, like...
Well,
whatever.
Earl.
Yeah, Earl. His name was Earl, yeah.
So... Then, like, did you keep doing this?
I mean, not all the time, but, like, you know, and that was definitely the most egregious one.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I just started fucking off, and, like...
I mean, more than you already had, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you're
I mean,
like, now I'm just, like, leaving.
I would just go check out restaurants, you know?
Yeah.
I'm just like, hey, there's this fucking place that's, like, a 20-minute walk.
Man.
I'll fucking go check that out and come back, you know? Like, I went shopping at Kmart. Just because it was fucking Kmart and it was still open.
I'll just go walk around Kmart.
Yeah.
I actually know exactly where this is because I know where that Kmart is.
Yeah. Beaverton Creek Kmart.
Yep. This is so close to my work. Fuck, man. Okay. So, bring us home. How much longer did you work for this place?
So,
like, how did it all end? How does this ever end? I mean, I guess they fucking closed they shut the program down, right?
Well, okay, so, you know, and like, shout out to Lucas. He introduced me to Achewood, which is a great fucking webcomic if you guys have never read it. I also, through this dude Dave, who was a 4chan mod, found out about 4chan back in 2006. And this was back when it was like Catter Day and like Furry Friday and like, you know, chill stuff instead of
and not like Pizzagate and fucking
and like trying to ruin fucking people's lives through doxing and shit.
Right,
like,
totally.
The worst thing they were doing was like maybe a Habbo raid or something, you know?
Right.
Like, so, yeah, I mean, like, I also got some weird internet education there and like, you know, was introduced to some things that I wouldn't have seen otherwise. But eventually, you know, Brian and I never fucking finished our game. We never played fucking 40K with Dave, but fucking Jazz Crazy did eventually like migrate to another. Oh, that's right, we all got moved. Yeah, and that was the beginning of the end. Is we all got moved to another part of the building.
Oh,
and it was like, oh, well, there's less room over here. Oh, well, they're also going to be laying some people off.
Aha, downsizing.
They were asking for volunteers.
Oh, who would like to just quit this non-job?
Oh, well, it was even sweeter than that because, like, we had these contracts, right? And, like, they couldn't ask people to quit. That is unethical.
Right,
but they could ask people to volunteer to take this layoff package.
Yeah.
And I admittedly, I was kind of an idiot at this point in my life, and, you know, it's not the first time or the last time that I will be an idiot on this timeline, but
hey, man. This podcast could just be called Two Idiots.
Fucking I'll pound that shit. But yeah, so it was in the summertime, and I had very few fucks to give, and just kind of forgot that we were doing this family trip until it was like the week before.
Mm-hmm.
And so realizing that I just didn't have time to clear the fucking vacation, I was like, man, fuck this job. So I gave like 2 days notice.
So you took the severance package? And...
Oh, no.
Oh,
no.
you just...
I'm so dumb that I was just like...
no.
I'm gonna make... Because I also got transferred to another manager who I thought was super chill and would be like a little more understanding. So I was just like, hey, man, like, I know that you all are trying to lay people off and like, this is a big boondoggle anyway. Like, I actually have a bunch of crazy shit that I'm trying to deal with right now. And so like, I'm just going to bail. Like,
whoa. Peace
after 2 days. And like... He never got back to me, so I was like, all right, it's cool, you know. Man. And like, yeah, I don't know what happened on their end, but I do know that I tried to get back into Stream after I graduated because a friend of mine from ITT was working there.
Oh, wild.
Because he was like, dude, you got to get in on this. Like, we got this fucking great tech support thing that we're doing. And I was like, I mean, I don't think they're going to hire me, but... maybe. And he was like, okay, well, like, you know,
I technically have zero experience.
Well, right, and like he was like, well, so you know, this my boss's name is this, and I'm like, oh, well, he was my last manager at Stream, and he's like, oh, really? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh, okay, well, I'll ask him, and so he did, and I guess that guy was like, oh yeah, he's cool. Yeah. And then so I applied, and they immediately turned me down. And I was like, hey, man, like, what happened there? And he's like, oh, I don't know. And so, like, he asked his boss, and his boss was like, oh, yeah, I don't know. I thought it would be... I didn't know who you were talking about. Like, huh. He's like, wait, what?
Weird.
Yeah, so I guess his boss was just kind of like, oh yeah, that guy's cool, but like didn't actually look up what my fucking status was in the system.
Yeah, or he like put a note in your file and then it just got like auto rejected or whatever.
Yeah, who knows?
Who fucking knows?
Yeah, but yeah, like definitely can never get hired at Stream again, especially after this. But,
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, so they started downsizing because we had zero ads. Like no one was buying ads on this fucking platform.
Right. So just this huge failed project.
Yeah, well, because guess what? No one uses fucking Bing.
Yeah.
And all of the people who wanted to advertise on there were like fucking selling drugs or fucking weapons or sex, you know? Like, right. Because, I mean, it was essentially everyone who couldn't advertise on Google.
Well, that's like, yeah. So if it's fallout from Google rejects, but then it's like more strict, so it's just like, well, we tried. Shit, well, this ain't going to work.
Yeah, so basically the whole thing was a filter that just went no to everything.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Oh, yeah, so when you even did have to do work, you were just like, no.
So much of it was no.
Not this, not that.
So much of it. And, like, it was all, like, terribly formatted and, like...
Oh, man.
Like, the spelling and grammar was all fucked, you know?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And, like, a big part of what we were doing was clicking through links and making sure that all the landing pages were legit, and like, none of them were.
Of course, right, yeah.
It was just... Yeah, and like I get why you feel like there's credence for this whole fucking social experiment thing, because like like none of this was actually like lucrative material. Like none of it actually sold any ads. So like on the one hand, so I have kind of like two feelings about this. And like, do you have more story on this, or like, or can we do I could fill in some gaps, but I mean, basically, yeah. Like, I just fucking quit after like, you know, at least. Fuck, I honestly don't know how long it was. It was at least 9 months, if not a year and some change.
That is wild. So I have like two feelings on this. One is that like, this is fucking awesome. Like, I love the idea that people could just get jobs where you just fucking don't have to work hard or work at all, and just get a paycheck, go home, and then you're like jobs where you don't have to take it home with you at the end of the day. I mean, number one, that's huge. And then jobs where you don't have to bust your balls while you're there all day is also awesome. Like, it's just, man, it's just a job. Yeah. You're just like, I'm a warm body. If I can do the thing when you ask me to do it, and that's few and far between. So, like, to me, I'm just like, hell yeah, 500 people got, like, the best 9 months to year and change of their life or whatever until they completely, like, shuttered the program or whatever.
Yep.
But on the other hand... It's like, this is exactly the whole fucking Antiwork thing, is that these giant corporations are so fucking detached that they will just throw however many millions of dollars at this program, employing all these people, this whole fucking thing, renting the cubicles, renting the space, doing all of this for fucking nothing, man.
Yeah.
I mean, they practically did just give you this money for free. Like, yeah, you had to, like, be there.
Had to do some homework and shit.
Read Cracked and take quizzes and feel like worry about, like, what it is you're even doing.
Right.
So, you know, there's that. But then it's just like, why even do any of this? These corporations have the money to just give UBI to people. Like, why can't we just universal basic income people? And these corporations have the capability to do that. I mean, this is 500 people at a time. One small example of it, but, like, holy fuck, dude.
And I agree completely. And furthermore, like, I mean, you know, on the anti-work tip, like, there's a ton of corporations that are not employing people enough money, so they have to go on food stamps and shit.
Yep.
And that's essentially taxpayers filling out the rest of their fucking income because these corporations won't pay them what they're worth.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's part of what gets my goat too, is like, yeah, these guys are willing to pay people a ton of money to do nothing. And then on the other side of the coin, there's
and then Walmart can't even pay the people who bust their ass to shill fucking garbage goods to people. Like, they can't even pay them enough to pay their bills.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, what a fucking broken capitalist nightmare we live in,
That's
dude.
what I'm saying. It's a fucking boring dystopia. Like,
a boring dystopia indeed. Oh, man. Fuck balls.
Insane. And I mean, like, I kind of wish that I had just, like, taught myself how to code so that I could have been doing 2 jobs at once.
Yeah.
You know, like, that would have been great.
Right.
But at the time, I was still just so fucking fuck it that I was just trying to do leisure shit the whole time, you know?
And it's hard to break out of that mold, too, if that's what they're going to offer you. And I'm not trying to say that, like, oh, well, like, you should be inspired by your jobs, or that even employers have a responsibility to inspire people. But, like, what the fuck are you supposed to do when your only job is to just be a sack of meat in a chair all day with nothing to fucking do?
Exactly.
Like, and then if you have, like, so many websites blocked, like, I guess maybe you could have hopped on, like, Code Academy or something at the time, but you're also always sitting there wondering when, like, oh, maybe there's gonna be some work to come in.
And that was the thing. Like, the distractions were so constant that, like, you couldn't really focus well enough to learn anything or get any kind of, like, actual task done in your spare time. So it was better to just, like, zone out and read or fucking you know, play Ocarina of Time or some shit, you know?
Yeah, dude. Oh my god. What a fucking wild thing. I've had some slack jobs, some fucking do-nothing jobs, but nothing like that, dude.
Well, and this is the thing, man. Like, you know, like, we were quoting Office Space left and right there.
Oh, I mean, I have to imagine that was, like, everyone's favorite movie, right?
Yeah, because it's, like, what happens when you actually get paid to do nothing?
Yeah.
You know, like, for fucking months at a time. Like,
well, I come in, and then I just sort of zone out for the first 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd venture to say I do about 15 minutes of actual work in a week. You know, It's like, yeah, man, yeah.
Fuck, dude. It's like a dream job and a nightmare job all in the same.
Yeah, one, like I said, you know, like, some people were thriving while other people were fucking cracking into fucking pieces, you know?
Totally.
And for me, it was mostly just the ennui of, like, this shitty fucking building and these fucking weird-ass people and, like...
Well, and traveling to Beaverton also, because you weren't living out there, were you?
And like, you know...
and that's like a crummy commute if you're trying to live in Portland proper.
Yeah, and the shifts were all weird. It was, like, you know, either morning shift or night shift. And, night shift ended really late and morning shift was kind of early, so it's like...
so even in spite of doing absolute fucking nothing and getting paid, it was still like a crappy job.
Yup.
Oh, capitalism.
Yeah, there wasn't even a way to make doing nothing worth doing, you know?
Oh, man. There you go, man. There you go.
When doing nothing isn't worth doing, what are you gonna do?